The gatekeeper slammed the door in my face. I let you see your children when you've learned to know your place. You've got no rights when you talk to me. I bore them, I own them, only I decide what will be.
Hello and welcome back to the Family Court. Now, I found a very, very interesting one here. I just wanted to go through it. Application to vary maintenance as business slows down. And has on the right hand side, you won't be making any phone calls. This is a court. A husband who is paying his wife weekly maintenance of €50. So that's €200 a month. Or maybe a little bit more than that. You know, there's more than 4 weeks in most months, about $220 a month. Applied to the judge in the district court to have it varied. The couple who had 6 children were separated for 3 years, and the wife lived in the former family home, and a husband in private rented accommodation. So what you're seeing in that is that this husband and wife broke up. One of them or both of them had been paying a mortgage on a house. The usual situation is the man is paying a mortgage on the house, working and paying a mortgage on the house. Although we all know that that's not always the situation today these days. But it is still the normal situation. But the wife was given the house. That's interesting, isn't it? The wife was given the house and the husband moved into private rented accommodation. And needed to keep working in order to pay for the private rented accommodation. 3 children live with the husband, 2 of whom were still dependent as they were attending college. So that's interesting. The wife was given the house. You know, let's assume it's a 4 or 5 bedroom house. The husband had to move out of the house and move into rented accommodation. And all the children were living with the husband. Well, 3 children were living with the husband. I assume said there was 6 children altogether. I assume the other 3 were old enough to go out on their own at that stage. But 3 children live with the husband. 2 of whom are still dependent as they attend college, so they're older kids. The income and expenses of both parties were discussed. The self-employed husband earned €600 a week, which is normal. I'd say it's slightly below normal wages in Ireland. Excuse me. A week, out of which his solicitor said he paid $150 weekly towards rent. So what's that? $600 a month, about $650 a month towards rent, that's on the low side. He's not in for a 4-bedroom house in Ireland, you're paying £1,000 a month at least. So that's not a great house he's in. So he had to move out of his family home into a €600 a month house that he was renting, which isn't a great house, I can tell you now. I'm not sure where this is actually. Does it say? I can't see where it says. It probably does say somewhere. But if that's Dublin, that's not a great house. So $160 weekly for rent, $160 weekly for groceries. That's fair enough, especially with kids in the house. He gave his son €80 a week and his daughter €100 until her grant came through. He could not pay his overdraft of $17,000. Well, with those kind of expenses and €600 a week coming in, I can understand why he has an overdraft of $17,000. And there was a court order against him for the outstanding amount. So he's getting pressure and letters from the bank to pay this $17,000 off. He can't do it because out of his €600 a week, he has to pay rent, pay for groceries, and he's also giving his son and his daughter money. They're in college, so he's giving them a weekly allowance from college. This man is a saint. He said his business has slowed down, especially in the previous 3 to 4 months. He accepted that his son's grant yielded €100 a week. Sorry for the clearing of my throat. I'm just not well today, so bear with me, my friends. €100 a week, and that the additional €80 could be considered excessive. Okay, so the son doesn't need €180 a week because he gets a grant. Okay. In cross-examination, he asked if he knew his daughter got a €300 a week from her grant, and he replied, "No. I spoke to her last Sunday evening, and she said she did not have the grant yet. I should give her a ring now." The judge interjected. This is the funny bit. "You won't be making any phone calls. This is a court." He accepted that his wife had looked after the 6 children while he had built up the business. And what they're not saying there is the wife chose to look after the 6 children while he built up the business, and that she had no qualifications. That she chose to have no qualifications. She chose to have 6 children. She chose to not get qualified in anything. And he chose to spend time with his children, I assume, and also building up a business. And you know, even now, when the business has slowed down, he's down to €600 a week. He's given all his money to his kids and his. She lived alone in the former family home and had an income of $254 to $372 a week. So, you know, there's a range, but let's say she's making about $300 a week, depending on the hours available. So she's working part-time. She's making about €300 a week. The last time she had earned $324 was in July. Okay. She earned an average of €250 a week, and out of that she paid €60 to the council and spent €80 on groceries. In cross-examination, it was put to her that she was a healthy woman who had the house to herself and no commitments, and should be able to maintain herself rather than rely on her husband's money. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. So he's also paying her. He's giving his kids money. He's paying his own rent. He gave her the house. And he's also paying her €50 a week. Like an able-bodied, fit, healthy woman who has a full 4-bedroom house to herself. He's still paying her money. How is that possible? How is it possible that he's paying her money? But I would agree, when they say in cross-examinations put to her that she was a healthy woman who had a house to herself and no commitments. She had no kids to look after. He was looking after all the kids. He's looking after all the kids, looking after his own rent, gave her the house, working in his business, probably working his ass off in his business during a recession. And he's also paying her money. He's just sitting in a big house on her own. He's doing some kind of part-time job. And watching daytime TV for the rest of the day. I just added that in. We don't know what she watches. But maybe she watches Oprah. Who knows? Okay. So she should be able to maintain herself rather than rely on her husband's money. Of course, she should have never been receiving her husband's money in the first place. He's looking after everything. He's looking after the kids. He's looking after his own rent. He gave her the house. There's no way she should be relying on her husband's money. She had found it difficult to get work because she was not qualified. Well, you know, he worked very hard to build up a business. It's not his fault that she's not qualified. She had tried some computer courses but could not keep up. Could not keep up. She applied for many posts but got no positive response. She had asked at work for an increase in hours and hoped this would happen when things picked up. Social welfare was out because of her income. Okay, but you know, she should be able to look after herself. She was asked if she considered €60 a week to the council was too much. Why was she paying €60 a week to the council? What's that about? Is that for bins or something? She replied, I suppose. So they're not. What they're saying is the €60 a week to the council are you lying about that? That's what they're asking. Is excessive. They're saying, did you lie about that figure of €60 a week to the council? And she says, I suppose.
Oh, mother knows best. Myths full of lies. A child's welfare being paramount is just a disguise for feminist supremacy, as all men must pay for the sins of their fathers. It's Mother's Judgment Day.